Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Jay. The channel is called Square Pegs, and today we're talking about fighting games. And when I talk about fighting games, I think a lot of us immediately go to classic consoles like the Super Nintendo or the Dreamcast, something like that. But I'm going to talk to you today about a console that I guarantee you most of us don't first think of in a modern sense when it comes to fighting games, and that is the Nintendo Switch. Do me a favor, if you're new around here, please hit that subscribe button down below, and now let's take a look at what I feel are 10 excellent fighting games that you can pick up on the Nintendo Switch. And that is starting now. Alright, the inclusion of SNK vs. Capcom Match of the Millennium might raise a few eyebrows here, but hear me out on this, because I have such an affinity and such an adoration of the Neo Geo Pocket Color that getting these games both in collections and piecemealed out on the Nintendo Switch eShop is just such a blessing to me, because the Neo Geo Pocket Color is really damn expensive to collect for now, and I just can't afford to do it. So being able to pick up games like this for $8 on the eShop and have one of my favorite portable fighting games available to me at any time on my beautiful OLED screen is magnificent. This features characters from both SNK and Capcom, so it's primarily Street Fighter characters, primarily SNK King of Fighters characters, but you get a few crossovers here and there as well, like Morgan from Darkstalkers does appear in this game as well. But the game is just a really ton of fun to play. I love this game. It's a very simplified game. You only have a punch and a kick button, but all the mechanics are still there. You're still able to do fireballs, you're still able to do hurricane kicks, things like that, and it just plays brilliantly well. I thoroughly enjoy this game. I think it's a wonderful title, and it's a budget title, so if you're looking for something that is easy to pick up and play, easy to get into, and easy to execute moves on, SNK vs. Capcom Match of the Millennium is a really solid choice.
PvP. The fire in your heart is burning.
This is Phantom Breaker Omnia, and huge thank you to Rocket Panda Games for providing me with a review code for this. I truly appreciate the support for the channel. And this is a game I was completely unfamiliar with, despite the fact that this originally released in 2013, and this is kind of the ultimate edition of it. And boy howdy does this game just work. It is gorgeous. If you dig anime, this game is for you, because the character designs are 1000% anime inspired. The soundtrack is great, the voice acting is great, and for the first time ever, every character has English voice acting, which I think is pretty awesome. And that's before we even get to the mechanics of the game, because it's excellent. The game is tuned marvelously well. Like, Rocket Panda Games actually says this has been completely rebalanced from the original release, and while I haven't played the original one, playing this is just falling into like a natural cadence of a fighting game, and that's really hard to pull off sometimes, because sometimes companies get a little too cute with what they want to do with their fighting games, but this one just works. Truly enjoying Phantom Breaker Omnia. It's available on the eShop. It's a spectacular game, and I think this is something that a lot of people are going to want to be playing going forward. It's solid. I recently ranked every single game in the Capcom Fighting Collection, and while I don't like to go back to the well too often on games like this, especially ones that I've reviewed within like a month of another video coming out featuring it, I don't think you can do a list of the best fighting games on the Switch and not include the Capcom Fighting Collection. You have 5 different Darkstalkers titles: Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Gem Fighter Minimix, Cyberbots, Red Earth, and Hyper Street Fighter 2 The Anniversary Edition. It's a solid compilation, and yes, I know I am a sucker for compilations, so I'm kind of predisposed to love this game, but I have had so much fun playing this, both going back to games that I loved when I was younger, like Super Gem Fighter Minimix or Darkstalkers, and trying out new games that I have never played before, like Red Earth or Cyberbots. It's a beautiful compilation title with phenomenal controls that just feels like a natural fit on a Switch Pro controller. Everything in this collection just hits. It's a wonderful collection, a fantastic purchase, and something that I absolutely love. Like, when the worst game on your collection is Hyper Street Fighter 2 The Anniversary Edition, you're doing something really right. So Blade Strangers from Nisalis is one of the first fighting games I actually purchased on the Switch, and it wasn't something I had a whole lot of experience with. I didn't know anything about it. I just knew that, you know, Quote and Curly Brace were on the cover from Cave Story, and Shovel Knight was on the cover, and Kawase from Umihara Kawase was on the cover, and I saw that Isaac from Binding of Isaac was in it, and I thought, well, this is a bit of a fever dream of a video game, isn't it? We should really look into this. And what I got was a spectacular fighting game that has incredible mechanics, wonderful graphics, and just a killer independent video game crossover that I didn't expect in the slightest. You have 14 different characters that you're able to play with, most of them coming from their own unique video games like Code of Princess, Umihara Kawase, Cave Story, Shovel Knight, like I've said, as well as, again, Binding of Isaac. But you also have 2 original characters from the game, which is pretty neat. And the game just plays beautifully and is a solid, simple fighting game. Now, this is just a really clever title that I have a whole lot of fun with, and it's definitely worth picking up. It's a very traditional 2D fighter. It doesn't have a whole lot of frills to it. It's just very straightforward in what it does, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just a great game. Blade Strangers is a ton of fun. Alright, straight out the gate, not a huge Mortal Kombat fan, but I do like what NetherRealm has been doing with Injustice, so I wanted to check out Mortal Kombat 11, but I sat on it for a long time. I'm familiar with how they work. I'm used to them putting out gold editions or ultimate editions, and lo and behold, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate appeared upon the horizon, and that's when I knew it was time to pick it up, because I figured at that point we're going to have a fairly stable game that I was going to probably enjoy quite a bit if I picked it up, and you know what? This is a really great game. I don't really know what happened with the Mortal Kombat mythos. The last one I played was Mortal Kombat 3, legitimately. Like 30 years ago was the last Mortal Kombat I played. And picking this one up now, it's nice to kind of fall into step with characters I'm familiar with and see brand new characters that I think are really cool. And a ton of weird celebrity crossovers, like having the Terminator and the Joker in it. I mean, I guess that makes sense, having the Terminator there, and the Joker, I guess, could probably play with the Mortal Kombat crowd, but how the hell is John Rambo there? I don't know. The game itself, though, plays really solidly well. It's gory, it's violent, it's bloody, it's everything you would expect from a Mortal Kombat game, and it executes nearly perfectly. The cutscenes are a little ugly on the Switch, I will say that, but the gameplay sings. It's fantastic. I really am so pleased that I picked this one up.
I'm a fraud, and I like it.
Much like Mortal Kombat, not a huge Power Rangers fan, but I do like ambitious games, and when I first saw the lineup of characters that were available in this game, I was kind of intrigued, because you didn't just have, like, whatever the latest, greatest flavor of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is. No, you had characters available from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Power Rangers Zeo, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, Time Force, SPD, Mystic Force, Jungle Fury, Samurai, Megaforce, Dino Charge, the 2017 film, Shattered Grid, and Street Fighter, like Ryu and Chun-Li are in this as well. This is a wackadoo game. And I'll be honest with you, when I first played this, I didn't dig it. I didn't think it was very fun, but it took me probably about a half hour of actually playing the game the first time to realize exactly how well made this title is. It plays beautifully well. The combat in it is fantastic. It is a gorgeous looking game, and if you love Power Rangers, this is kind of your Smash Brothers. It really is. It's a spectacular title and something that I have had a lot of fun with, and I can only imagine how much more fun I would have with it if I had any kind of like affinity for any of these characters, because I just don't. But this one is awesome. I definitely suggest Power Rangers Battle for the Grid because it's just such a cleverly done fighting game. It executes nearly flawlessly, and it's right up there. It was either going to be this or Dragon Ball FighterZ to put on this list, and I've talked about Dragon Ball plenty of times on the channel before, so I wanted to feature this one a little bit more because I think it's really, really killer. All right, sticking with digital titles now, this is quite possibly my favorite entry in the Fatal Fury series. This is Garou, Mark of the Wolves, and everything about this game just works. The character lineup is fantastic. It takes place in the future of the Fatal Fury series, so a lot of familiar faces are gone. The only one that you're going to recognize is Terry, and it's a whole new cast of characters other than that, and the game is just so well done. It's executed nearly flawlessly. The different characters that you're able to use. Rock Howard is the son of the enemy Geese Howard from the original Fatal Fury run, and he's the protege of Terry Bogard. There's characters that are the children of people like Kim Kap-Wan from the original Fatal Fury series. Hokuto Maru is a ninja who is trained by Andy Bogard, so there's a lot of ties into the different kind of lore and mythos of what Fatal Fury was that ties into this game, Garou Mark of the Wolves. The fighting in the game is just so solidly done and is such the pinnacle of the Fatal Fury series that I really think that if you have ever played anything from SNK and you have had a good time with it, especially more modern games, things that took place after 1999, you owe a lot to Garou Mark of the Wolves because of what it brought forward and the things it introduced. It is one of the best fighting games from the Dreamcast generation. I still own my Dreamcast copy, but I really wanted to have this on the Switch to be able to take it portably with me, and the Arcade Archive series makes that possible. And it's so cheap. It is $8. Like, one of my favorite things about the Arcade Archive series is that you get these incredible games for a low budget price. $8 is just a steal for a fantastic game like this. Oh, compilation titles, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I can give you 30 reasons right off the bat. Or at least to give you a 30th anniversary version of a game here, because we have the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. That was a mile to walk for that, but ride with me here for a second, please, because this is a magnificent collection. So you can start off with the first Street Fighter game from 1987, although why would you? Because you can just jump into Street Fighter 2. You have 6 different versions of Street Fighter 2. World Warrior, Champion Edition, Hyper Fighting, New Challengers, Tournament Battle, and Turbo. It's brilliant. And then you get to Street Fighter Alpha, which is my personal favorite version of Street Fighter. You have Warrior's Dreams, Alpha 2, and Alpha 3, and then you get the 3 versions of Street Fighter 3 with New Generation, Second Impact, and Third Strike. And all of them play wonderfully well. I know for a lot of people, they don't like the way they play on the Switch, but for me, who is a filthy casual as far as it goes to fighting games, these play fine. These play just like my memories. These play brilliantly well, at least well enough for me. If you aren't a competitive fighting game person and you just want something that you're going to be able to play on your Switch that kind of takes you back a little bit to classic Street Fighter games from your past, this game's for you. I have to admit, I don't have a ton of exposure to the BlazBlue series, but I picked up BlazBlue Central Fiction a couple of months ago just because I've always wanted to play it, and I haven't been disappointed in the slightest by this game. This is one of the most visually stunning fighting games I've ever seen. The fighting is solid, the sound is great, and there's just so much going on in this game. You have 36 fighters that you're able to choose from, which is just astonishing to me. And it's just the best version of BlazBlue Central Fiction that you would be able to get, because you get everything. Like, this is a game that was originally released back in 2015, and this Switch release of it is just solid. Like, it's a really fun title with a lot of incredibly ambitious style choices to it, and some really clever fighting mechanics. Now, again, it's a very traditional 2D fighter. It's just a lot of 2D fighter. There's a whole lot going on in this game, and I really, really love it. This is just a really solid fighting title, and I really am excited that this was my introduction to the series because I'm having a ton of fun with it. And honestly, no matter how you feel about this game, no list of fighting games on the Nintendo Switch is complete without including Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, because it's the end-all be-all. It is legitimately the alpha and omega of fighting games on the Switch. You have 89 playable characters. All of them play uniquely enough that you're going to have a unique challenge every time you play. Every single version of Smash Classic has a different structure that you're going to go through for each character. You're not always going to fight Master Hand and Crazy Hand at the end. You also have Rathalos, and Galeem, and Darkon, and Dracula, and Ganon, and Marks. Yeah, there's a ton of bosses in this game. There's just so much going on in this game. And that's before we even get to like the Spirit Board, or the Exploration Mode, or anything like that. It's a never-ending cavalcade of content with Smash Ultimate. Even though they have stopped doing DLC, the game doesn't die. It just keeps going. I am so far from completing this game. I have had this since the day it launched. I play it regularly, and I'm still miles away from completing it, and that is all you can ever hope to ask for in a quality fighting game. Smash Ultimate is amazing. It is one of my favorite games on the Nintendo Switch, and when you talk about fighting games, you have to include Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. All right, there you have it, my friends. 10 fantastic fighting games you can pick up on the Nintendo Switch today. A nice mix of digital and physical assets that I think are just wonderful fighting games, but I know I've overlooked some, so if you have any fantastic fighters that you enjoy on the Switch, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you to my patrons and channel members you guys are seeing on screen right now. I truly appreciate their support. And as always, remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.